When Josh Allen started skyrocketing up network analyst draft boards ahead of the 2018 NFL Draft, people everywhere were skeptical. A quarterback from the University of Wyoming that almost no one had previously heard of, with a career 56.2 completion percentage, was supposed to be the next great QB prospect? Does that sound like the typical archetype for a franchise quarterback? Sure, Josh Allen has a high level of athleticism and the pure arm talent to really sling the ball to any corner of the field. But between the incompletions, interceptions, and silly mistakes, Allen admittedly gave people plenty of reasons to be skeptical.
What are your high-level thoughts on Allen?
I think he is what people wanted Christian Hackenberg to be, but the play down to down just isn't there.
But nevertheless, up the draft boards he went, much to the chagrin of all the wannabe draft experts on Twitter, as the Bills took him with the 7th overall pick in the draft. And as much as he's made his doubters look silly during his young NFL career, it wasn't always such smooth sailing for the kid from Firebaugh, California. Let's take a look back at the journey Allen took through the early years of his career and pinpoint the secret to the incredible success he's found in year 3. In Josh Allen's first NFL season, 2018, he looked very much like a rookie quarterback. The team went 5-6 in his starts, and Josh threw only 10 touchdowns compared to 12 interceptions. He also completed just 52.8% of his passes, which, let's be honest, is pretty bad. And all of the draft day, Josh Allen haters out there were quick to remind us of that. Very quick. But in his second year, both he and his team improved. Buffalo rallied behind its second-year quarterback and a much-improved defense to go 10-6. Allen also stepped up his play, increasing his completion percentage by 6 points to 58.8% and lowering his interception total for the year from 12 to 9, despite playing 5 more games, all while throwing for 3,089 yards and 20 touchdowns. All in all, a very solid sophomore campaign. But even still, the haters were not satisfied. In fairness to his detractors, there were of course some boneheaded plays you could point to looking back at his season. And again, let's be honest, while 58.8% was obviously a big improvement from a paltry 52.8%, that is still not up to snuff if you want to be a legit NFL quarterback. But all of that has been put to bed in 2020, as Josh Allen not only led the Bills to a 13-3 record, the number 2 seed in the AFC playoffs, and a promising postseason outlook, but he also threw for over 4,500 yards, 37 touchdowns, and has jacked up his completion percentage all the way to 69.2%. And when you take into consideration the gunslinger mentality with which he plays the game, that really is an amazing accomplishment. And while most all the haters have been quieted, there are still some questions that need some answering. Like, how in the world has Josh Allen transformed into a franchise quarterback seemingly overnight? While there are obviously a number of different factors that go into an NFL quarterback's development, I think that for Allen, it starts with the infrastructure around him. There have been a couple of key additions to the coaching staff that have been big-time difference makers for the guy. And weirdly, these changes have somehow flown under the radar, especially considering the massive dividends that they've paid, both for Buffalo and for Allen. There was the addition of offensive coordinator Brian Daboll, who immediately meshed with Allen and has been a huge help throughout the season, both in managing in-game adjustments and scheming out game plans. But as important as the offensive coordinator is, it seems that there was no bigger addition than Ken Dorsey. Interestingly, Cam Newton, who not only has been compared to Allen, but also played under Dorsey during his MVP season in Carolina, was quick to comment on the partnership when asked about it this season. And let's just say he was sky high in his hopes for the duo, saying he's an extremely talented player with a big arm and the mobile skills that he does present. Very physical, strong, elusive. I'm a big fan of Josh, and he's actually getting coached by a person I know extremely well in Ken Dorsey. He was my quarterback coach the year I won the MVP. So I won't be surprised if he even wins it this year. An absolute ringing endorsement from a former league MVP right there. For those of you who are unfamiliar with the former NFL quarterback, let me give you a little background info on who exactly Ken Dorsey was. In college, Dorsey became a household name as the quarterback at the University of Miami. The guy was a stud at the Division I level. He won a national championship for the Hurricanes in 2001, posted a record of 38-2 as the team's starting quarterback, and was a two-time Heisman nominee. But when it came to transitioning his game to the professional level, it wasn't quite as seamless. He ended up being selected in the 7th round of the 2003 NFL Draft and only went on to start 17 games in his NFL career after really struggling his first 2 years in San Francisco. Bills general manager Brandon Beane, who has been around the game forever, gushed about Dorsey's professionalism, highlighting his elite mental aptitude for the game that he thinks kept Dorsey in the NFL longer than he would have otherwise been. Obviously, you guys know his college career, and he hung on in the pros probably for his mental ability longer than his physical ability, Beane told reporters at an interview after he hired Dorsey. Ken's a very tough competitor. You see that even when we play basketball with him. He's fiery. He works super hard, and he's as smart as anybody that I've been around. He's unbelievably smart. He sees the game. Beane was also sure to highlight the value of Dorsey's professionalism and collegiate experience as a player, because the team's previous quarterbacks coach, David Coley, did not have that. I think anytime you find a coach that has also played that position, there's a natural bond. Talking about the position, they're gonna go, okay, he knows what it's like. He's been between the white lines. He's done big things at the college level, and he's even played at the pro level. After hearing Dorsey's outlook on his relationship with Allen and his approach to developing the young quarterback, it is no wonder the two have struck gold so early. He has preached a balanced approach, not only coaching him to help the team in the short term, but also trying to develop the parts of his game that'll give him the opportunity to have a long, successful career in the NFL. As Dorsey describes it, focus on the entirety of your game and becoming a well-rounded football player from A to Z. The progress that Allen has made this season under Dorsey has been truly incredible. While Allen won't win MVP this season like Cam predicted, largely because Aaron Rodgers has all but locked it up with a dominant 2020 campaign, Cam was right on the nose with the kind of leap he foresaw for Allen. In fact, Buffalo's quarterback ended up putting together some remarkably similar numbers to what Cam did during his MVP campaign. In 2015, when Cam led the Panthers to the Super Bowl, he had a passer rating of 99.4, 4,473 total yards, 3,837 of which passing yards, and 45 total touchdowns, with 35 of them coming through the air, all while only surrendering 10 interceptions. It's worth noting that, although Allen threw the same number of picks as Cam, his completion percentage of 69.2% was significantly higher, and he also bested Newton's quarterback rating by just under 8 points.
It doesn't fall on deaf ears that you went from completing 58% of your passes last year to 69% of them this year. That's coaching.
From the looks of it, Allen has had a rather MVP-ish season too. It will be fascinating to see where Josh Allen's NFL journey takes him. The league is a much more fun place when he and when Buffalo are in the mix. So hopefully he and Dorsey continue the great work, and he's a mainstay in the MVP discussion for years to come. What about you? Would you rank Josh Allen as a top 5 NFL quarterback right now? Join us in the comment section below. If you like this video and learned a thing or two, clicking the like button helps out a ton, and hey, we appreciate it. If this is your first time coming around to TPS though, subscribing is a great idea because we put out videos like this every single day. But as always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.